So how can one exercise do so much for so many? Hello, my name is David Hall. I'm a certified reboundologist, and I'm here to share with you a very unique form of exercise. Let's begin by defining the term exercise. The current methodology of exercise teaches us that we need to stress a certain part of the body or function of the body over and over until it becomes stronger. Unfortunately, that only goes part of the way because those type of exercises only deal with certain parts of the body. Items like the wedge, the abdominal board, rower, ski toner, portabike, fitness climber, stairmaster, health rider, Nordic track, Schwinn airdyne, life cycle, life rower, stomach cruncher, thigh master, ab blaster, or whatever you want to call those things. They all basically do the same thing. They put weight or stress on certain muscle groups. Well, muscles are made up of cells, and the cells don't really care where the weight comes from or how sophisticated the equipment is. The cells don't care whether the equipment has pulleys, fulcrums, wheels, arms, cables, chains, or rubber bands on it. At the end of the cable or the chain, you still have the weight. And it's the weight or stress on the cells that causes the muscles to become stronger. Well, as long as the American public continues to buy into an old idea based upon the current methodology of exercise, every couple years the fitness industry is going to find a new way of packaging another product designed to motivate you to add to your ongoing collection. And chances are that product or a piece of equipment is only going to target another certain part of your body. Well, if we only target certain body parts, those are really the only parts that are going to receive the benefit. Under the new definition of exercise as it applies to rebound exercise, it reads the application of weight or stress on the entire body, causing the entire body, its parts and functions, to become stronger. Suppose there was one exercise that would strengthen all of your muscles all at the same time. But it would go well beyond that. It would reduce body fat. It would firm your legs, thighs, hips, and buttocks. It would strengthen your arms. It would increase your agility. It would improve balance, rhythm, timing, dexterity, and coordination. It would provide an aerobic activity for your cardiovascular system. And it would rejuvenate your body when it was tired, but it would go well beyond that. It wouldn't just strengthen muscles. It would strengthen connective tissues, ligaments, tendons, cartilage, bones, skin. When skin cells get weak, gravity pulls down on them. We begin to sag. How do you get your skin cell to do a push-up? We're going to talk about that in a few moments. But a program that would also strengthen and improve the physiological functions of the organs within your body. It's been a program that's been featured in medical journals to be effective in lowering cholesterol and triglyceride levels, helping to lower high blood pressure, helping to reverse hardening of the arteries. A program that is being used to help to eliminate or reduce varicose veins, improving digestion and elimination, helping to detoxify the liver through a gentle pumping action that is also improving kidney circulation, digestion, and elimination processes. A program that's being used by ophthalmologists today to help revitalize vision. You see, as we get older, the blood vessels of the eye become more constricted. The eye loses flexibility. We need to increase circulation to the eye, and this can do that. It's a program that helps to increase oxygen and blood flow to your brain, improving balance significantly by constantly moving fluid past the stirrup, the smallest bone of your ear. Dr. James White, University, California, San Diego, claims it will even help to improve a tennis swing because you challenge your balance more than the average person. But this is a program that massages not just all of your muscles, it massages all of your internal organs as well. Now keep in mind, under the old definition of exercise, we're only working certain body parts. Those are the only parts getting the benefit. Under the new form of exercise, we work the entire body. So all the muscles and all the physiological functions are involved with the exercise. No, this isn't science fiction. It's science fact. But it is not the exercise of the past. This is a program that was featured in the Townsend Letter for Doctors in the July issue 1995. These are doctors talking to doctors about 30 of the health benefits of rebound exercise.
Okay, as I stand here on the rebounder, I weigh approximately 160 pounds, or 1G, the force of gravity. But as I jump just this high, a remarkable thing happens. I no longer weigh 160 pounds at the bottom of the bounce. I now weigh closer to 200 pounds, or 1.25 Gs. Now, we can measure that with a bathroom scale. For example, if I took the bathroom scale, put it on the rebounder, and then jumped up and down on it, the needle would continue to fluctuate, registering the greatest amount of weight at the bottom of the bounce, up to 25% more weight just at this height. Now, NASA discovered when the astronauts were in outer space for just 14 days, they lost as much as 15% of their bone and muscle mass, simply because the cells did not have the increased weight of gravity to contend with. Well, if we can increase the gravitational pull of the Earth by 10, 15, 20, or even 100%, our cells would have to start to adapt by becoming that much stronger. Rebound exercise applies the increase of weight not just to one part of the body, but to the entire body. And the cells don't care where the weight comes from. They'll adapt. Now, if we were to ask any physical therapist, what is the formula for strength? They're going to tell us it's stress times repetition. You stress a certain part of the body or function of the body over and over until it becomes stronger. Well, with rebound exercise, we're increasing the stress to every cell of the body over 100 times a minute. Rebound exercise is the most efficient exercise, incorporating an isometric for toning your entire body, an isotonic for building muscle bulk and strength and strengthening bones, a calisthenic for targeting those trouble areas, and an aerobic program all incorporated into one. In 1911, Albert Einstein observed that the human body could not tell the difference between the forces of acceleration, deceleration, and gravity. Well, we understand gravity, so let's consider a moment the forces of acceleration and deceleration. We feel the force of acceleration when we jump in that brand new car and we step on the accelerator. We feel our body being pushed back into the seat. We feel the force of deceleration when we come around that corner. We see the truck ahead of us and we step on the brake or the decelerator, and we feel our body being pushed forward into the seat belt. The body doesn't know the difference between those three forces. As I stand on the rebounder and I jump up and come down, I load the springs. That's known as the force of deceleration. Those loaded springs now push me back up. That's the force of acceleration. Whenever we add the forces of acceleration, deceleration, and gravity combined on the same vertical plane, we create an entirely new G-force. The cells of the body are constantly under flux. That's an isometric. It tones the entire body. Rebound exercise is also an isotonic. Now, we generally think of an isotonic as a weightlifting type of exercise where we put weight on certain muscle groups of the body, causing them to become bigger. Well, with rebounding, as I stand here, I weigh 160 pounds. I jump this high, I now weigh close to 2 Gs, or twice the gravitational pull of the Earth. That means the cells, the bones, the muscles are going to have to start to adapt by becoming twice as strong. Or I'm going to start to become half as tall. It's an isotonic. It strengthens not just muscles, though. Since it's cellular, it strengthens connective tissues, ligaments, tendons, cartilage, bones, skin, internal organs, and their functions. Now, many people think that rebound exercise is something that you just jump up and down on, but it's far more than that. It's also a calisthenic. You can do over 30 different exercises to target certain areas of the body. For example, if I wanted to focus the weight on my stomach to strengthen my stomach area, this exercise right here is far more effective than any sit-up you can probably do, or any ab roller or ab blaster, which only uses your body weight against gravity. Every time I come down on the rebounder here, I increase my weight to this area of the body by as much as 25%. Now, these stomach muscles here came only through the rebounding that I do. I do about 40 repetitions of this right here. This is a lot more than just doing a sit-up, though. With a sit-up, all you're doing is using your body weight against gravity. With rebounding, I'm increasing my body weight in this area by as much as 25%, far more effective than a sit-up. In addition, to get rid of the handlebars, which I also had, I simply incorporated a program like this. Now, every time I come down, I increase the weight to this area of the body, again, by as much as 25%. Rebound exercise is also an aerobic exercise. In the early 70s, Dr. Kenneth Cooper exposed the entire world to the term aerobics. There's nothing magic about it. It simply means that all the cells of our body need oxygen in order to convert nutrients into energy. They receive the oxygen from the oxygen delivery system, which we call the cardiovascular pulmonary system. That's made up of your heart, lungs, arteries, capillaries, and veins. So an aerobic exercise is virtually any activity that stimulates this system to more efficient oxygen delivery. Now, Dr. Cooper pointed out that walking is as good an aerobic exercise as running. It just takes a little longer. But it eliminates up to 7/8 of the shock to your skeletal system compared to running on a hard surface. Now, NASA also published a report in 1980 in the Journal of Applied Physiology showing that trampolining was up to 68% more efficient than jogging on a hard surface. It was over twice as efficient at equivalent levels of oxygen uptake than treadmill running. In addition, we've been told that we need to do an aerobic exercise for 20 minutes in order to get a benefit. Well, let me ask you a simple question. Do your cells have watches? Do you think 20 minutes means anything to them? All we need to do is challenge the cells beyond their capacity. Within a certain amount of time, they will adapt to the challenge that we give them. Now, I happen to go a little faster in my aerobic activity, and I count to 100, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the time I get to 100, I'm done with my aerobic activity. But I haven't torn the body down. I've simply built it up. Using the forces of acceleration and deceleration, we create a pumping action that increases circulation throughout your entire body. That increased circulation helps to detoxify the liver. It improves kidney circulation. It improves digestion, elimination. It helps to increase oxygen and blood flow to your brain. That's the force, that movement, that increases circulation even to the blood vessels of the eye. It's a therapeutic bounce, just like this. It also massages the entire body. As we are constantly being exposed to gravity on a day-to-day basis, we build up stress or tension within the body that restricts circulation. So the body's in a weakened condition. We become fatigued. Gently moving up and down on a rebounder helps to break up that stress and tension throughout your entire body and throughout the internal organs as well. At the top of the bounce, rebound exercise is one of the only exercises that leaves you suspended for a moment. You're no longer subject to the gravitational pull of the earth. As you come back down, you don't jar your body. You simply increase the G-force, which through the pumping action helps to increase oxygen and blood flow throughout your entire body and increases fluid movement in between your bones and joints, improving skeletal flexibility and bone and joint health. Now, it's great to have strong muscles. It's wonderful to have endurance, but it's even more important to be healthy. When we have our health, we can pursue our wealth, and we can enjoy it. But when we lose our health, we'll expense our wealth, trying to get our health back again. We've all known people in that position. I think that's what makes this next exercise probably the most important and vital exercise that any of us can do on a rebounder. And it's what I call the health exercise. Now, I call it the health exercise because we have an immune system or a lymphatic system, and it's its job to keep us alive and healthy. The lymphatic system is a circulatory system that works its way throughout your entire body. It's made up of millions of one-way valves that open and shut based upon hydraulics. When there's pressure beneath a one-way valve, it opens. When there's pressure above a one-way valve, it shuts. As I stand on the rebounder and I jump up, millions of these one-way valves are shut, and as I come down, they open up. As I gently bounce up and down, I activate literally an internal vacuum system of suction that flushes out the internal environment of the body. It gets rid of the toxins, the poisons, and metabolic waste that accumulate within the body, which lead to stress, distress, poor health, breakdown in communication, degenerative diseases, and even pre-aging. Now, in each of us, we have something called a white lymphocyte, or a white blood cell. And those white blood cells utilize the lymphatic system to move throughout the body, seeking out and destroying viruses, fungus, dead cells, mutant cells, cancerous cells, and other foreign invaders of the body. So it's vitally important that the lymphatic system be clear and constantly be circulating. Rebound exercise is the most efficient form of exercise to help activate good lymphatic circulation. In addition, that gentle pumping action helps to move fluid through all the different internal organs and functions of the body. I began rebounding 6 years ago. At that time, I'd been sitting behind a desk for nearly 15 years. I was growing a double chin. I had a nice little pot belly. I had very poor posture. My shoulders were drooped. I started rebounding. Within 1 year, doing it just 10 minutes a day, my entire body started to change. Now, I want you to think of something. If you take 20% of your body weight and you put it into a dumbbell and you lift it over and over 100 times a minute, remember, that's a great exercise for that one part of the body. But if you apply 20% additional weight to your entire body, every single cell, over 100 times a minute for 10 minutes, that's a pretty intensive exercise, far more efficient than working different body parts. Well, when I started, I had no stomach muscles. These muscles here, again, are simply through 10 minutes a day of rebounding. My arms are increasing in size and bulk and toning up everywhere on my body, and it is simply through this. This is what I do. I start off every morning with what I call the health bounce. I do this one for 2 minutes. This exercise right here breaks up all of the blockages in the body, increasing the circulation. It's what I call my wake-up call. After I've done that simple exercise for 2 minutes, then I do an aerobic exercise. Now again, this is a good aerobic exercise, but I take it a little bit faster, and I've worked up to that. So I go about this speed, and I count to 100. 1, 2, 3. By the time I get to 100, I'm done with my aerobic activity. Then I do a calisthenic. Remember, a calisthenic targets to certain areas of the body. I wanted to get rid of my double chin. I wanted to flatten my stomach. I held on to a door jamb at the time because we didn't have the bar. Now we have a bar as an option. And I simply do 40 of these every morning. 1, 2, 3. Every time I come down, I'm putting much more weight here than I could possibly put here if I was just doing a sit-up or using an ab roller or an ab flex or whatever you want to call those things. Every time I come down, there's about 25% additional weight right here. Now, after I started strengthening this area, I wanted to get rid of my handlebars. And I thought that by doing this, I would tone this whole side of the body, and sure enough, that's exactly what happens. Every time I come down, I increase the weight to this whole area of the body by as much as 15, 20, or 25%. It burned off and tightened and toned this whole area. Now to strengthen the lower back and the buttocks, and it strengthens, tightens, lifts, and tones. You can put your hand on the bar, and I simply kick back. Every time I come down, I'm putting that much more weight on this whole area of the body. Now to strengthen the lower legs, to increase circulation, to help reduce or eliminate varicose veins, we have to increase circulation. By sitting down like we're on a horse, sitting back over our heels so our back is straight, lifting up on our toes a little bit so the feet remain flat, I simply do 40 of these every morning. And you can see the muscles flexing. This will burn off the calories all around the legs. It will strengthen the knees, but it's not jarring your body because you're not hitting a hard surface. The shock is being absorbed by the springs, not by you. Now, if you have weak knees, and I did, my knees weren't very strong when I began, this simple exercise right here will help build the knee without tearing it down. Now remember, if we have a weakness in the body, a weak back or weak knees, if we don't do something, it's going to continue to get weaker. We have to do something, but we want to do it the most gentle way that will help build without tearing down. Well, rebounding is one of the ways that we can do that. By standing here and jumping to the other side, back and forth, I put weight or stress on my legs and my knees, but not a jarring effect. This will strengthen without tearing down. Now, as my knees got stronger, I began to sit down further. The further I sit down, the more stress I put on the knees. I did this for about 2 years, and I finally realized, hey, I can do this now. This is excellent for skiers. I do this to the count of 40 every morning. When I'm done, my legs feel like Jell-O, but they don't hurt. It builds up without tearing down. Now, in order to build muscle, bulk, and strengthen the bones, we have to increase the weight to the body. With rebounding, again, all we do is jump higher. So for a couple minutes every morning, I do this. I end up with the health bounce for about 2 minutes, and then I'm done. That's it. My entire program, every cell of my body is involved with that exercise. All the physiological functions are as well. This is a fun, easy, convenient, economical, safe program that virtually anyone can use. Rebound exercise has had a dramatic impact in my life and the lives of those I've had a chance to share it with. I'm in my 40s. For me to be able to take my hands, put them above my head, and put my hands flat on the ground is something I have not been able to do since junior high. Rebound exercise has increased my skeletal flexibility dramatically. For me to be able to stand here and tie a shoe, something very simple for many people, but something I couldn't do 6 years ago. My balance has been improved dramatically. For me to stand here and put my leg out in front of me, to sit down and then to stand straight up again without using my hands is something, again, I haven't done for over 20 years. Rebound exercise is not muscular. It is cellular. It affects all the physiological functions of your body as well as the muscles.
Women have specific needs or areas of the body that they'd like to target. What I'd like to do now is invite my wife up so that she can share some of the different exercises that she has developed that may be of benefit to you.
To tighten and tone the upper arm area, hold your arms out shoulder length, keeping them a shoulder length or above. I flex my muscles before I begin, and then as I'm pulling through, I feel the resistance of the air. To add variety, I just change my arm movements as long as I'm holding them shoulder length or above, flexing and feeling the resistance. To tighten and tone the stomach as well as the thigh area, you can sit down on the rebounder, place your hands next to you on the mat, and begin a very gentle bouncing up and down. As you get better, lift one leg up, and as it tires, alternate legs. When you get to a more advanced degree, you can lift both legs up and put your body into a V shape. To work on your outer thigh, grab the side of the rebounder, lean over a little bit, and turn your leg up, your outer thigh up, and just simply bounce. To work on the inner thigh, you would do the opposite. Turn your inner thigh upwards and simply bounce, holding it there.
I'm going to share this with you, but don't confuse this with a toy. It is not a toy, and I'll explain the difference in just a moment. To open it, I just peel back the Velcro, pull up on the unit, slide the case aside, lie it on the ground so it looks something like a taco, and pop it open. Literally, in less time than it takes me to put on a pair of running shoes, I'm ready to start rebounding. Now, as I mentioned, many people mistakenly believe that they can pick up a unit like this at some Sears, Kmart, or sporting goods store. Nothing could be further from the truth, and it's important you understand why. This material, for example, it is not made out of canvas, nylon, or plastic like you might find on other units. Canvas, nylon, and plastic cannot support your feet. It stretches with the feet, causing your feet to pronate or turn out at the bottom of the bounce. That lack of support in your feet can lead to ankle problems, knee problems, and lower back problems. It is important, vitally important, you have some good support under your feet. This is made out of a special polypropylene space-age material called Permatron. It will not stretch out. You can leave it out in the sun. It's resistant to ultraviolet light. It will not absorb moisture, but it will support your feet. Now notice the springs, they're larger than they are in other units. Most units will use a small barrel spring. It's the same diameter from one end to the other. Those barrel springs do not have nearly enough give or yield to them. They create a jarring effect on the body, which over time can lead to nerve damage as well as lower back problems. We went with a larger spring and we tapered the end. So the majority of the weight is now maintained in the middle of the spring, which is where it belongs. The excess weight is absorbed by the two tapered ends. We don't put any unnecessary stress on the two ends of the spring. We solved a major spring problem. If you've ever been on a rebound unit, this is going to be an entirely different feel. We lengthened the legs by 2 inches to compensate for the larger spring so you get more pumping action. That pumping action we're going to talk about in just a moment, and it is critical. It's one of the best advantages of rebound exercise. Now, notice that these springs do not connect into the frame like they do with most units. When you connect the springs directly into the frame, you begin to wear the frame down in 36 different areas. So we drilled holes through the frame. We put steel pins through the holes, connected the springs to the pins, so this frame will last virtually forever. Every unit comes with a cover so you don't get tangled up. And notice the legs. The legs are not screwed on. We found out a long time ago, anything that can get screwed on can also get screwed off, or worse. These legs fit over a steel shaft. They're held into place by a very heavy-duty spring.
In 1993, I introduced you to the soft bounce rebounder. I've now changed the name to the easy bounce Cellerciser, and I'm here to share with you some of the changes that have improved upon that unit. It's important we understand that there are good rebounders and bad rebounders on the market. By getting an easy bounce Cellerciser, you are getting my unit, and you are assured that you have a good quality unit. This particular unit uses the same material as my previous unit. It is Permatron. Again, it will not stretch out. You can leave it out in the sun, the rain, the snow. It's weather resistant. I also have changed the stitching in the webbing from a nylon to an actual polyester. This is the same material that you actually find in seat belts, so it doesn't stretch like the other would. I use a large tapered spring, just like my previous unit, but the spring is a little stronger than even the other one was. And in the legs, I now use piano wire. To most of you, it won't make a big difference, but the piano wire is the very best wire you can get on the market. And it doesn't break like my other springs could. This particular tip is not made out of rubber like most of them. It will not wear down like rubber. It should last you many, many more years. It's a special material. And instead of going with blue, I now made it black, which is more neutral. It looks much nicer in most homes and offices. And I also added a pull-away flap. Now, if you recall on the other unit, if you did not pull the material away from the hinge, you can put a hole in it. And I never liked that design. By pulling the material away from this hinge, I can lie it down. Even if I forget to pull the material away from the other hinge, it will pull itself away with the Velcro. The legs fold right over. And the easiest way to fold this unit is to put your knee right next to this hinge, keep your body completely over the actual unit itself. I put my leg right next to the frame, my arm to the inside of the leg, and rather than bend over where you're fighting it, I simply reach over to the side and then lift up again. And it's much, much more simple. The unit folds right in half. Notice the Velcro. It gives so it does not hurt the material. Now, I also improved the carrying case. If you look at this carrying case, it's ripstop. It's the same material they make out of, or parachutes out of. And it's reinforced, it's waterproof on the outside, it does not rip like my previous carrying case could. And we pay much more careful attention to the actual detail of the material itself and the sewing. To get ready to travel with it, I just throw the carrying case right over the unit, pull up on the material, it's Velcroed. I grab the strap, put it over my shoulder, and I'm ready to go. Remember, you don't have to exercise when you Cellercise. Thank you.
There's over 30 different types of exercises you can do on a rebounder, and then you can become creative. We hope you'll explore rebounding, that you'll use it, that you'll benefit from it, and that you'll share those benefits with us so that we can share them with others. In the meantime, keep rebounding.